Stephen King is known to be the king of horror books, as most of his novels are more of thrilling drama dark kind of genre. Wikipedia said that he has sold more than 350 million of copies, in which many of his books have been adapted into films. For example, Carrie, The Dark Tower, and It. However, today I, Khaleeqa Naazira, will be reviewing this crime psycho movie called Misery. Hope you enjoy the video.
God's sake.
It's for the best. God, I love you.
Misery was first released on November 30th, 1990 by director Rob Reiner, which he took the storyline based on Stephen King's novel Misery from 1987. Now, who is Rob Reiner?
Who?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, Rob Reiner is an American director, producer, writer, and an actor. He acted in Shock and Awe, Sandy Wexler, The Wolf of Wall Street, and 70 more films and series. He is also the director of Flipped, Being Charlie, Stand By Me, and many more. Alright, that's enough for Rob Reiner. Now let's get back to Misery. Even though Misery was written perfectly by Stephen King, the movie itself became better thanks to the great actors and actresses that managed to deliver their lines and parts flawlessly and made this a better experience for us viewers.
I figured that if I can't find Paul Sheldon, at least I can find out what he wrote about.
What do you expect to find? A story about a guy who drove his car off a cliff in a snowstorm?
You see, it's just that kind of sarcasm that's given our marriage real spice.
Let's give a round of applause to Kathy Bates for her great contribution in Misery. Thanks to her talented performance, the movie achieved a lot of awards, such as winning an Oscar of Academy Awards in Best Actress in the Leading Role, Best Actress of 2020 Awards, as well as winning Golden Globes in 1991 for Best Performance by an Actress in a Motion Picture Drama. The movie had also been nominated in Academy of Science Fiction, Fantasy and Horror Films for Best Horror Film, New York Film Critics Circle Awards for Best Actress Kathy Bates, and USC Scripter Award.
Susan Sarandon, White Palace.
Joanne Woodward, Mr. and Mrs. Bridge.
And the winner is Kathy Bates, Misery.
I must be dreaming. I really didn't expect this. I got dressed up just in case, but I would like to thank everybody associated with Misery, Castle Rock and Columbia Pictures, and Barry Sonnenfeld for his incredible cinematography, for everybody on the crew.
Without any further ado, let's move on to the movie. Paul Sheldon, a famous writer, was driving his car until he was caught in an avalanche. He then was saved by a woman who lived in a remote home outside of Silver Creek. That woman was Annie Wilkes, who was also a former nurse. While waiting for the blizzard to settle down, Paul was treated with care by Annie as she claimed that she was his #1 fan to his novel, Misery, especially to his character, Misery Chastain.
Where? We're just outside Silver Creek.
How long?
You've been here 2 days. You're gonna be okay. My name is Annie Wilkes.
My #1 fan.
Yes, that's right. I'm also a nurse.
However, her obsession towards Misery took a dark turn when Paul allowed her to read one of his new manuscripts in which Misery Chastain dies in the novel. Annie turned aggressive because the novel did not go up to her expectations. She demanded that Misery should live just like her fantasy. So, she insisted that Paul should write a new novel in which Misery is not dead. She even named the novel Misery's Return. Knowing that Annie would murder Paul anytime soon, Paul began finding ways to escape the house and the truth began to unfold when he found out who Annie really is.
Anything else I can get?
Misery is indeed a great movie. However, there are still some weaknesses from the movie. Firstly, the credit scenes in the beginning of the movie. Sure, it is good for advertising, but not for the viewers, as it may make the viewers wait longer, to the point that they are not hyped for the movie anymore. Second, the plot is quite slow as it takes so much time for the sheriff to discover where Paul Sheldon was hidden.
Well, if you wouldn't mind, perhaps I could pay you another visit sometime.
I'd be delighted now that you know the way.
Miss Wilkes? Miss Wilkes, are you all right?
Here! I'm down here! Down here!
Mr. Sheldon?
Next, it does not make sense as no one suspects Annie Wilkes, who lives alone outside Silver Creek with a criminal record. Lastly, I noticed that the supposedly main character, Paul Sheldon, talked less and mostly shows his expressions, which did not really put much effect on how viewers would feel, unless he's with Annie.
Meantime, you've got a lot of recovering.
Despite of all weaknesses of the movie, I do see some strengths coming out from this movie. For example, Misery really gives you the thrill and suspense with the excellent background sound. Next, the camera angle and shots play a huge role in increasing the thrill in each scene of the movie. Lastly, the acting was well played by all actors and actresses, especially Kathy Bates. She totally owned her character as the psycho Annie Wilkes. This movie has a few similarities to The Shining, a horror film released on 1980, and also based on one of Stephen King's novels. Both movies are talking about a writer and their struggle when they got trapped in a building. Overall, the movie is great and highly recommended for other viewers to watch, even though it is an old movie. However, those with faint heart are advised to avoid watching the movie as the contents can be quite traumatizing. This movie is also for adults because it has vulgar words and violence. In all, I will rate this movie as 8/10. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day.